as always. So later today, President Trump will join the nation's press elite at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Take two. The do-over happening nearly 3 months after the president, cabinet members and press had to duck for cover as an alleged would-be assassin tried to rush the ballroom at the Washington Hilton. Now, he was stopped before he made it in, but a Secret Service officer was shot once in a bullet-resistant vest. That suspect has pleaded not guilty. Tonight's event will be at the Waldorf Astoria, and at a time when the Secret Service says threats against the people they're protecting are, quote, off the charts. News Nation Washington correspondent Corey Smith is live at the White House. Corey, the Secret Service says its agents are ready for anything tonight. What are you hearing?
Well, Marky, look, a new site requires a new security plan, and Secret Service Director Sean Curran says his agency is taking the necessary precautions to keep the president and everyone else at the dinner safe.
We are in a heightened level of a threat environment right now. It's no secret. There are things happening around the globe that are always going to impact, how we move, and that's how we evaluate, what our security plan is going to be.
Now, tonight, part of that plan includes enhanced screening procedures, airport-style magnetometers, a controlled entry point. Even the tickets are different. They're now digital. But perhaps the biggest change is the venue itself. Tonight's dinner will be held at the Waldorf Astoria instead of the Washington Hilton. And the guest list, much smaller, capped at 680 people instead of the 2,600 who attended in April. Reportedly, the First Lady, Vice President, Secretary of State, all will not be in attendance because of scheduling conflicts, but a host of other cabinet members are expected to be there. Now, the more intimate size does not change the approach of the Secret Service. Curran says they go into every event expecting bad people to show up because simply that is the world we live in. And just look at the numbers and you understand why. The Secret Service has opened more than 10,000 investigations into threats against protectees so far this year, a 40% increase from the same period in 2025. Not to mention, there have been multiple assassination attempts against the president, and an alleged terrorist plot targeting the White House UFC event was thwarted just last month. The White House is expressing confidence, though, in the Secret Service, as evidenced by President Trump's planning to attend the dinner tonight. Here's Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt.
The president looks forward to finishing what he started before a despicable assassination attempt derailed the original event back in April, as we all know. And I encourage everyone watching tomorrow night to tune in for what promises to be a very entertaining and memorable evening.
Now, tonight's event will also honor the Secret Service agent who was injured in April at the original dinner. And an interesting note here, Marky, tonight will be a homecoming of sorts for President Trump. The Waldorf Astoria, D.C. used to be the Trump International Hotel here in Washington, D.C. before the president sold it in 2022 and the property was rebranded.
Interesting.
Marky?
All right, Corey Smith live from the White House. Thank you. For more, let me bring in retired Secret Service agent Bobby McDonald for more on this. Bobby, top of the morning to you, sir. Thanks for your time. There's a lot of anticipation leading up to tonight's event. I imagine it's a mixed bag for everybody who's going. Excitement, nerves. How beefed up will tonight's security footprint be compared to April's, you think?
Well, good morning, Marky. I think you are going to see a beefed up apparatus at the hotel tonight. But remember, the Secret Service takes every event as an individual event, as you heard Director Curran say in your piece a moment ago. So I think you're going to see some enhanced visible, and I think you're going to see some enhanced invisible apparatus with respect to the security plan. Look, the eyes of the world are going to be on this event tonight based upon the original event having the problem at the Washington Hilton. So I think the Secret Service has gone into this as it does with every event, despite the issues that we've had over the last couple of years with several of events and assassination attempts. But you're going to see a very enhanced security platform at the Waldorf Astoria tonight.
And there's been so much coverage, of course, that night, but then in the 3 months since that evening and just what this evening will look like. Again, does all this media coverage of an event like this make it more or less of a target?
Well, I think it could go both ways, to be quite honest with you. I think one of the problems that we have in the Secret Service is that we get copycat issues. We get people who see what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and then utilize that information to their protective advance or counter-surveillance advance, if you will, to see what the Secret Service is going to do. So it cuts both ways. The Secret Service is going to give this 110% tonight. Remember, the Secret Service never has the opportunity to take anything off its plate, whether it's worrying about a lone gunman or vehicles or airplanes or different types of drone situations. the plate of the Secret Service's protective apparatus keeps growing, and they have to be nimble and creative in how to figure out how to combat those issues.
I know that Secret Service Director Sean Curran said that so far this year, 10,000 potential threats against people under Secret Service protection so far this year. Obviously, that includes the president, of course, which the director says that is more than he has ever seen in his career. Take a quick listen.
The numbers are numbers at this agency, and certainly I have never seen in my 24-year career. They're off the charts. The threat, picture and environment is as large as I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby, when you hear 10,000 threats in the first 7 months of this year, I mean, what immediately comes to your mind, and how do those numbers compare to what you saw during your Secret Service career?
First thing that comes to my mind is, wow, what a staggering number.
Yeah.
The Secret Service investigates every single threat against every one of our protectees. Now, some of those threats are deemed not viable right away and are moved into a different category. But the Secret Service does not allow any threat to go unchecked. So when you have tens of thousands, when you have just coming off of the World Cup, which the Secret Service coordinated the security as a national special security event, we're starting to talk about the Olympics in a couple of years. You've got the midterm campaigns coming up. You've got the UN General Assembly that's coming up in New York, where we have 100 to 150 leaders every year. The Secret Service's plate is full, and they are very busy. But that doesn't negate any of the efforts they have to put together with respect to personnel and assets to give its protective apparatus the proper due that it needs. So that's a very staggering number.
Yeah, I thought so too. And we thank them for what they do every single day to keep everybody within the administration safe. But Director Curran also defended the April setup, saying that Allen was apprehended more than 100 yards away from where the president was going to speak that night. He said that is proof that the system worked. This is what he said.
You're talking almost 120 yards. That's over a football field away. And, the reality of it is we expect things to happen at the magnetometers, which is why we set them up.
Yeah, do you agree with the director on that? He said, I wish that we could put the perimeter starting at the bridge way outside the building, but that's just not possible. Do you agree that April's security footprint actually worked that night?
Well, the bottom line is all the Secret Service protectees that night got home safe. That was the bottom line. However, the optics of the situation certainly don't look good. And when you start to piece together all the pieces of that video, you can see that there were some, I hate to use the word deficiencies, but there were some areas there where things didn't go according to plan. So the Secret Service can call that whatever it wants. But the bottom line is all protectees and all people, with the exception of the injured officer there, were able to get home that night unscathed. So the optics weren't very good, and I'm not sure that I would give it that total seal of approval. But the Secret Service is going to come back tonight better than ever. They have to start every morning perfect and have to get better by the end of the day. So a lot of good work, as you mentioned, by the Secret Service agents there, the agents on the ground doing the hard work every day, 365, 24/7. So they've still got to get better and still got to continue to improve. That's the bottom line here.
Well, we'll be watching closely tonight. I hope it's a very different kind of evening than it was back in April. But to your point, I hope it's the same and that everybody gets home safe. Robert McDonald, thank you so much for your time this morning, sir, or Bobby, whichever you prefer. Hope you have a great weekend, sir.